For years, the IRS has been stealing money from the pockets of Americans. But what Trump just announced could finally get rid of the IRS and income tax.
President Trump doubled down on his message, cut taxes for the American people. He even floated the idea of abolishing the federal income tax altogether.
He is toying with the biggest tax cut of all, no income taxes.
So you are taxing foreign firms and then giving individuals,
right.
you, a tax cut potentially.
Trump has been off to a wild start since taking office for his second term, and it seems that he's on a roll to make huge changes.
I think tariffs are the most beautiful word. I think they're beautiful. It's going to make us rich.
This would be the biggest transfer of wealth in the history of this country.
And the IRS is now his next target. He's fed up with the government stealing money out of the pockets of hardworking Americans, and the citizens of our great country are tired and angry. There's really no incentive to work harder or to even make more money, because the harder you work and the more that you make, the more the government takes from your paycheck in the form of income tax.
Dad just called me and said that I owe $480 from my tax return because apparently if I just had $10 more taken out of my check every single week, then I wouldn't owe anything at all. I owe money for working? Because Dad, that sounds like a scam.
I have to agree with her. It's not fun working hard every day and then getting that paycheck stub just to see how much the government has taken from you. And then, if that's not bad enough, just to find out at the end of the year, they want even more money than what they've already taken from you. The government should not reap the rewards of your hard work. They didn't do all that work themselves, so why should they see a dime of anybody's paycheck? But Trump is adamant about giving money back to the American people.
You know, the United States in 1870 to 1913, all tariffs, and that was the richest period in the history of the United States. The income tax came in 1913. Instead of taxing our citizens to enrich foreign nations, we should be tariffing and taxing foreign nations to enrich our citizens.
The president says that he plans to impose tariffs on a list of imports, all to boost domestic production.
That's right, love him or hate him, Trump is fighting for tax relief, and this will even help the economy. With a 10% tariff on imported goods from countries like China, Mexico, and Canada, it's the companies importing the goods that will pay the price, not the consumer.
Float out the idea of getting rid of income taxes and replacing it with tariffs.
Well, okay.
Are we serious about that?
Yeah, sure, but why not?
Therefore, the government's revenue comes from the companies importing the items and not the general public.
Now, the plan is to stop taxing American citizens and to start collecting revenue from foreign trade instead.
A tax break for people may actually encourage them to work harder due to the fact that when they do make more money, the government can't take even more of it. The American people get punished with a higher income tax because they make more money, which really discourages most people to go in and make that extra money or get all that overtime because they know the more money they make puts them in a higher tax bracket, the more percentage of their paycheck the government's going to take. This will also mean more money in consumer pockets, which also means people may go out there and they may start buying more again, which would help increase spending, which in turn all increases our economy. There's nothing more I hate than working hard, getting a whole bunch of overtime, and then looking at my pay stub just to see how much more money the government takes from me. It doesn't really leave a warm fuzzy feeling inside, and it doesn't really motivate me to want to do more work just so they can take more. Trump isn't giving these countries an out either.
Canada and Mexico can do tonight to forestall your implementation of tariffs tomorrow?
No, nothing. Not right now, no.
Not a negotiating tool?
No, it's not. No, it's something we're doing. They've treated us very unfairly.
Trump said the deficit that these countries have with the U.S. is just way too high.
We have about a $200 billion deficit with Canada. With Mexico, it's the same thing. We have a $250 billion deficit.
And they were not going to be able to use these tariffs as a negotiating tool, and there's really nothing these countries can do to avoid them. In other words, Trump isn't giving any options. He's just simply saying, this is how things are going to be, like it or not. We all know big companies will do anything to keep all the revenue in their pocket, even if them paying a bit more, which you know they can afford, would help the entirety of the general population.
You guarantee American families won't pay more?
Whatever happens with these tariffs, I'm really hoping that Trump is truly correct, and we as the American people get rid of all these income taxes, and we finally put a stop to the IRS stealing the money of all of these hardworking Americans. With everything just getting more expensive, just having anything more coming into the household would be a great help to the American people. If you like what you heard and you want to stay up to date on news, please go ahead and give this video a like and go subscribe. We'll see you next time.